well, welcome to you if you are here with us right now. Get yourself comfortable and ready for a ride.
You're holding something warm.
Are you holding something warm? We've got a little bit of softness here behind as well, Tineke.
So beautiful, the stuff. I bet it smells amazing.
It really does. And you mentioned that reminds you of your family and your father as well.
Yeah, my father. Yeah, one of his favorites. Yeah.
So we have found ourselves in a, again, very interesting situation. And as weeks go by, it just keeps evolving. And I wonder if some of you might be feeling that you might have lost a sense of autonomy or freedom. With a big announcement. We won't be going into a political situation right now.
No.
But what I wanted to say was that it is visible now as we have opened another term, the last term of the school year. There's a lot of unpredictability. And as you know, I am a teacher myself, and Tineke, you are too. And we advocate for our profession hugely. It's a very dear profession, and it's a big service to our community. But we have found ourselves in a situation where people are starting to feel the impact of what is happening and unfolding. And there's a lot of uncertainty for many people. And kindness goes a long way. I'm just going to repeat it. Kindness and gratitude goes a long way. We all have a specific bubble, a unique bubble to ourselves, right? We all have our lives that we are living right now, and our circumstances are so different. Yeah. And we are all doing what we can. And I'd like to invite you to ponder, if you are about to talk to someone or respond to someone, check in with yourself and see, is it coming from a space of fear and uncertainty? Or is my response coming from kindness and gratitude towards that person?
Yeah.
Because words have a huge impact.
Yeah, and when you are in that stressed mode and that fight or flight mode in your body, it tends to be that your reactions will be often can be explosive and sort of a feeling of losing control, but also directing that need for the release of that energy often to the ones that are closest to you, or the ones that are obviously
Impressed.
Yeah. So I mean, I know that I've been through that myself personally in these weeks, and you know, you go through waves of that expression, but then trying to remind myself that these are my frustrations and feelings, and if I direct them onto someone, what are their circumstances? What loads are they carrying as well? You know, talking about the teaching profession, I mean, how hard is it? I spoke to a friend the other day, you know, she's got new entrant children. It's like, how hard is that online, you know, and how frustrated is she feeling and wanting to get back to that? And she said to her that her parents have been really supportive, but there are also parents that are obviously really starting to not cope very well with the home situation. And so some of that stress is, coming through. Yeah.
They are coming through, but I wonder as well, Tineke, you know, there's so much uncertainty, and you know, these questions arise. You know, are our children going to miss out? What are they going to miss out on? I think that's something to reevaluate, because possibly the education and the curriculum areas and targets and goals might not look the same. They might be adapted to our current needs. And perhaps this is actually a really good time to look at this and how and what is it in this education system currently that is serving our children and what is really unnecessary. I think this time is also inviting us really into the sphere of being again, and instead of doing so much and accumulating all this knowledge all the time. Yes, it's important to have knowledge and be educated, absolutely. But what does education really mean in today's world and heading forwards as well?
Yeah, and I think, like you say, we have to break those traditional views and molds of education. And I think, you know, if every teacher says, oh, if you could have one-on-one time with some of the children in your class, a lot more of that, what you would be able to bring, you know, would be so much more. And I think, well, at the moment, you know, you have a really great ratio. Unless you have 8 children, that might be hard, but I know, I mean, we know families with like 4 boys, don't we, Jana? Yeah, our hearts go out to families where, you know, you do have quite a number of children to cope with. But you know, we were talking about giving the children freedom to actually direct their learning and their educating as well. So that can take a lot of pressure off you. If you're feeling like you need to get ticked boxes from what the school is providing, I would, and you're feeling stressed with that, I definitely would make a change and move away from that and actually go, I'm going to let some of this, it's not that I'm going to then give complete freedom, say, well, yeah, go on the screen for the whole day. But it's like, I'm going to let you direct this through your interests. We can, you know, manage this through giving more autonomy to the child and then taking less pressure off you, and those expectations can be released a little bit more. And I'll let you know that I have been in contact with our school in the first lockdown. I actually, in the second part of that, said, I'm actually going to, I'm seeing these things in my child. I'm seeing this stress, this pressure, the whole family, it's very negative. I'm actually making this decision and call as a parent to say, we're going to do this instead. These are his interests. This is how we'll achieve and cover some of these things you're talking about, but we're going to take our own direction in this. And I got a really positive response from the teacher and a really understanding response. So I think that communication of saying, you know, when we're coping here, this is actually detrimental. It's not educational. It's not helping anyone, you know, and so what is it that we can do instead? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the children are learning different things that could be really driven by their own motivation and interest, which, as we know, is also early childhood teachers too, is that is the most valuable way of learning.
Yes.
When you're driven by your own purpose.
Yeah. But I would go so far to say it's not just about early childhood.
That's right. Yeah.
It goes right through. You know, when I was doing music teaching, I made a huge realization that every child did not need to learn to play guitar, especially if they had no interest in learning a string instrument, you know. And I actually set up programs in my classroom that were individual contracts. And so there were some children who were in groups writing songs, others who were doing mixing on the computer, others who were learning to play electric bass for the first time, you know, others who were doing their own solo composition work. And they all were going with their own passions and interests in that subject field. And the results were just incredible. And so this is where it is, like when you allow children to go with, this was intermediate level, by the way, and year 9, 10. But if you allow that, the gold that comes from it and the feelings for the child of you see the focus, you see the drive, you see the contentment, you see the real possibilities for their own creativity and imagination to really flourish as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm speechless now.
Yeah, but it's trusting that. Hey, it's trusting that, and what is learning, you know, and yeah. One of the things yesterday I said to you about watching Country Calendar and seeing these homeschooled children on a herb farm, and they did their little bit of academics in the morning of arithmetic and
which is important. It's important to have them. But also the shift is more towards coexisting in a way.
Yeah.
And also, I think last time I mentioned that this is a good time. Yes, every bubble is very different and unique, and we all have different circumstances, and some of us might be working while also homeschooling and having younger children as well. But if you have a certain rhythm to your day, it will enable you to find those moments for connection as well. But remember, having time apart is very important too, because if a parent doesn't demand, and I've got to say, I feel that parents do demand a lot of attention from their children. And there might be various reasons why that's happening. And especially if we are in this situation where there is fear, maybe perhaps that's a sense of security and in a way, our way of protecting our children. But if we give them space, we give ourselves some space too. And if we don't demand the attention and we have that minimal interference in their lives during this time, because they would like a little bit of peace as well. Sometimes we can keep adding to the fire for them, which is really unnecessary. But what happens is if we don't demand that attention all the time, then the child won't demand it. And you will find that peaceful coexisting, you know, in that bubble. And it's a roller coaster. It's not always the same. You might wake up one day and you might feel like, oh, I've achieved so much and we've done so much today. Great, celebrate that. And the next day might be completely different when you just celebrate brushing your teeth.
Yeah, absolutely. It's never the same, is it? And it's like, oh, but yesterday was so good. We got, and it's like, yeah, but then there's those days where you have to just give it over, right?
That's right. And perhaps looking at the balance across those few weeks rather than of that one day. And maybe ask yourself, how did it go for all of us? Have we had a chance to connect? And yes, you know, we are not saying let's pretend that everything's great now and be the brave ones here and pretend how happy we are and how well we're coping. That's not reality. We all have days. I had those days. You had those days, Tineke, where you just feel like you just want to lock yourself in. I said to my children, I am going to give you my resignation from parenting. I'm going to ask for a leave right now because this is all just too much. And my son looks at me, what? What do you need, Mummy?
I'm not happy with the conditions in this contract.
No, right?
I'm giving my notice, effective as of now.
As of now, that's right. I need to apply for leave this weekend. I'm just not opening my door. But it's very interesting when you find that, because you can become really playful with that. Then I had children delivering cups of tea to me because they were a little bit concerned if Mummy is okay. But again, it was quite funny. Or, you know, the other time we completely changed our roles. So I became the child and the children became my parents. And
how fun.
I was embracing the mess around me.
Did you have some interesting things to eat, Jana?
I was really challenging this, and it was good to see what they had to say, because I requested ice cream for lunch. So we had ice cream for lunch this time. They were very concerned about me, but they had good giggles too, which was brilliant. And do you know what's really good, Tineke, as well? Now they're even asking, Mummy, are you going to be the child again? Can we just reverse that a little bit?
So they really enjoyed it as well.
I think what helps when you do things like that, you let go of that steam. You let go, you take that head off the responsibilities, and you just become really playful for a little while.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good time to do that and embrace it right now with your children. And if you are having a challenging time, we all are. We are all in the same boat right now. We are all trying our best right now. Maybe look for that support, make phone calls from your friends and, with your friends and your loved ones. We are here too. But before before we sort of try to direct that anger or frustration towards someone else, let's go and stop ourselves and go, okay, what is it about this person or this company or this institution or this education system or this early learning place that I value so much first? What do I uphold? And yes, we might not have all these answers for you for what's going to happen next year, because no one really has at this stage.
No.
And that can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Holding
on to that sense of hope as well, that things will, it's never going to stay the same. Things change, things move, but we are going through this period of time. And I think also accepting that, I think a lot of people think this is so unique, but if you look back through history, humanity has been through these times many times before. And so it is, it's not fun. It is shocking. It's a bit to get used to. But that the power of acceptance of the situation and making sure that every day is a day that you're living, right? You're not just on hold. Oh, it actually, maybe this is a good thing to finish with. In that sense, I had on Monday night, I'm doing an online course in Steiner parenting. It's just been fantastic. And there's been some wonderful teachers and speakers. And one of these speakers, David Urieli, I think his name is, he talked about some of Steiner's writings and lectures and how a beautiful guy called Valentin Tomberg put together things from these words. So they're Steiner words, but constructed by this man. And it's now known sort of as the prayer of acceptance. And no matter where your spirituality is, it's not about Christianity. It's really about your spirituality. But it's quite old-fashioned, of course, because it was written 100 years ago. But have a listen, because it really spoke to me, and it was beautifully calming to read it. And I've read it several times over and thought it was nice to share. So, whatever may come, whatever the next hour or day may bring, if it is unknown to us, we are unable to change it. We learn to await it with entire peace of mind, with entire calm of heart. Anxiety and fear impede our development. Through the waves of anxiety and fear, we reject what wants to flow into our souls out of the future. The acceptance of what may be called divine wisdom in the events, the certainty that whatever is to come is necessary and that it will have its positive consequences one way or another. The evocation of this mood in words, feelings, and ideas, this is the mood of the prayer of acceptance. There's a little bit more, but I'll write it up. But that's the main part of it. And I just think, may it just, really spoke to me. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it might you as well.
We're sending a lot of warmth and aroha your way. Be kind to yourself and the ones around you during this time of acceptance.
Yeah. And we dare you to become the child.
We dare you to become the child.
Give us some feedback, right, Jana?
Yeah. Thank you, Tineke.
Yeah.